Good morning, everybody. My name is Terry Hawk. I'm the superintendent of schools. We're very honored and pleased that you came out today, fine gentlemen and women of the armed services. We're very pleased to provide you this program as a little bit of a celebration, a little bit of a reward for what you've done for our country. We're certainly in different times at this point, and we thank you very much for providing us the opportunity to live in a democracy, to have the freedoms that we have today. Without your service, without your sacrifices, we would not be the great country that we are of the United States of America. A little bit of logistics as we go on here today. We do have enough to pay the electrical bill, but we do not have the lights on because of the screen over there. You'll see the screen here in front of you is the part of a tribute, 3 different videos that we've played today. You'll see the 5th grade over to the side and the 4th grade in front of you. Behind you, you will have students coming in and out of the program. We will start with the kindergarten and move through 3rd grade at different times of the program. So you will hear some shuffling behind you as kids move in and out. Ms. Shafford has done an outstanding job of providing a program for you today, as well as the students around you. And just a little bit, Ms. Shafford's parents both have served in the Armed Branches as well. And they are right here in front of us today. Congratulations. So congratulations on the fine young lady. So I'm going to hand it over again. We thank you very much for your service. We hope this program is a little bit of a tribute to what you've done for our country. Appreciate it.
This will be streaming live. Actually, the classrooms that are not in here right now have it streaming out to them. And we will also offer a final edit sort of video after the fact that we'll send that to you as well. Let's all stand and please say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
My name is Terry King, and I was a specialist in the United States Army.
Why did you decide to serve?
While I was finishing high school was about the same time as the first call board, and I wanted to serve my country, and that going into the Army was the way that I decided to do that. So my job was a board observer, and I worked in the artillery side of the Army, and we worked in a 3-man team. So what that entailed was getting as far behind enemy lines as possible and calling in artillery or aircraft onto targets to eliminate them, basically for our troops coming up from behind to make the battle easier for them. So close air support was one thing that we did a lot of to try to just support our fellow brothers coming up behind us. Probably the biggest sacrifice I would think that anyone serving in the military would see would be leaving our family for extended periods of time. You know, that would probably be my biggest sacrifice that I felt I made, was leaving home at a young age and just really missing that family connection for a while. What makes me most proud about serving our country is to know that Americans have rights that they deserve, and I have a hand or played a part in preserving those rights for future generations.
I'm thankful for our veterans because they have defended our country and our freedoms. They have sacrificed so much for us, and we are so thankful.
I'm thankful for our veterans because they have defended and protected us in many ways. They have sacrificed so much for our country and they left their families to go and help the country and our allies.
Sacrifice to serve our nation. Give us proud in any way. Because of you, we have our freedom. We honor you on Veterans Day. We pray that you return one day. That you protect our freedom. We honor you on Veterans Day. And so we thank you, and so we honor you for all your sacrifice. We honor you on Veterans Day. And so we thank you, and so we honor you. You are our heart and soul.
Hi, I'm Julie Reeks, and I served in the United States Air Force as a full linguist.
Hi, I'm Bob Reeks, Julie's husband, and I was in the Air Force as well as a Russian. My father was in the Navy, my grandfather was in the Navy, so there was a certain, maybe a little bit of pressure to go in the military myself, but I'm glad I did. Went in the Air Force, of course, and not the Navy, but I wanted to serve my country, and it all turned out very well.
I decided to serve because I dropped out of college and moved back to the farm and wanted more out of life. My dad had served in the Army Air Corps during World War II, and my brothers had served in the Air Force and the Navy, and it just seemed like the best choice for me at the time to serve my country and to follow in their footsteps.
As I stated, I was a Russian linguist in the Air Force. And our job, somewhat classified, but we listened to selected transmissions, recorded them, and gleaned information from them that helped us, military, all of us, to keep the peace, to make sure that everything was going smoothly around the world. When we served during the Cold War between the United States and Russia. So our job was to, enemies were located, their capabilities, and keep track of all that.
Well, I was a Polish linguist, and I went to school for a year in Monterey, California at the Defense Language Institute. Bob went to school at the Air Force Base in San Antonio, and then later on, he also went to school in Monterey. But it was a year-long course. It was very difficult and challenging. And then once we left there, we went to school for about 6 months to learn how to actually do the job. And then, and as Bob said, we interpreted voice transmissions and tried to keep track of the enemy.
Can you talk to us about the sacrifices of being a service member?
History at the beginning, and then to serve in a foreign country was a challenge as well.
I think not so much at the beginning, but the sacrifices were when Julie and I were married and had children, and then I had to do several deployments over the period of my career, and so that was hard to do, was leaving family behind for sometimes months at a time. That was really the most difficult.
I'm most proud about having served with so many dedicated people and having been a part of something much bigger than myself. I am humbled to have been a part of the military where so many sacrificed their lives and their health for our country.
I would echo those sentiments exactly. It was an honor to serve in the Air Force with so many great people. Julie and I have met wonderful people that we've maintained relationships with through the years. We've been out retired now for 20 years, and we still have those relationships with those people. So again, it was good to be a part of all of that, and it continues today.
I am thankful for our veterans secure our freedom and set a role model for everyone in our country. They are incredible citizens who chose to sacrifice to save us, and truly amazing. I am thankful for our veterans because they protect and serve our nation and have made many sacrifices for our country. Thank you, veterans.
Thank you for your service. Because of you we're free. Because of you we're free. We remember your valor, your heart and bravery, your heart and bravery. We say thank you for all you've done. We celebrate your life. We recognize your sacrifice and your service to our country. Our defenders, the dauntless, thank you for your service. Today we honor you. Today we honor you. You defended our nation. You fought to see it through. You fought to see it through. We say thank you for all you've done. We celebrate your life. We recognize your sacrifice and your service to our country. Our defenders, the dauntless, the brave. The
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Colonel retired Mike Melvin, and I've served our great country for 30 years in both the U.S. Army and the Nebraska Army National Guard. As you might suspect, I had a lot of different varied jobs. My final job was as commanding officer of an armored cavalry squad. I actually decided to serve to avoid the draft. Draft first came out in January, then were executed in July. My number happened to be 74, which means I would have been drafted. Now, that's not to say I didn't want to serve. I did, and I'll go into those reasons in a moment. But by enlisting, I was able to get some guarantees on what I was able to do. If I wouldn't have enlisted and just been drafted, I would have went to basic training, went to infantry, AIT, and Army would have sent me wherever they wanted. But I had read a book in the late 60s by Robin Moore called The Green Berets, and subsequently John Wayne made a movie from that book, and I had seen that book, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And so I was able to get the Army to guarantee that I could go to airborne school and get a shot at qualifying in special forces.
Tell us about your job in the military or the training you did.
Well, I did spend 30 years serving the country, so as you might suspect, I had a number of different jobs. I started out as a basic infantryman, and I was in Special Forces for a few years. Then I transitioned in 1979 from NCO to an officer through Officer Caddy School and became commissioned and went to Armor Officer Basic, Infantry Officer Advanced, Armor Officer Advanced, the normal schools that you would for officers, and I had a number of different positions. I see tracking operations and training. I was in personnel for a while, but not very long, and I really seemed to gravitate towards operations and training. I held S3 positions, assistant S3 positions with their operation and training officer, and then command. Commanded an armor company. I was an S3 for an infantry battalion and infantry brigade. And then, as I said, my final job was commanding an armored cavalry squadron, and I had a dual hat at that time. I was also the counter drug coordinator for the state of Nebraska when I retired. I was doing what I loved, so I really never looked at it as a sacrifice. I spent much of my career single. My father had already passed away. I was able to get back and see my mom and my brothers and sisters whenever I wanted to, really. And so I really never thought that I was sacrificing. I was given the opportunity to travel the world. I've been on every continent except Antarctica. I've lived in a number of different countries, and life was an adventure. Being in the service was an adventure. And it wasn't until I got married and had children that I saw that there's some sacrifices. And then I was pulled away from my family. I remember spending Christmas on the back of the train in Hohenfeld, Germany, thinking that I sure would like to be home with my wife and kids. So, but overall, it was not a sacrifice. I knew I was doing something that was necessary and good for the country, and something that was good and necessary for my family.
What makes you most proud about having been a service member?
This is an interesting question to me because my career spanned both the Vietnam War all the way to the war in Iraq and right before 9/11. And to see how people's attitudes have changed. I remember during Vietnam where our soldiers were spit on, were not treated very well when they came back and served their country. And then all the way through the storm where they were adored when they got off the plane. And that was quite a dichotomy, I thought. And what has made me so proud is how Americans have learned from their mistakes. And that soldiers don't decide where to fight or who to fight. They just go and do that dirty work for the country. And to see how people change their attitudes from the soldiers from Vietnam and how they have realized what an important job soldiers serve and show the proper respect and the proper love for soldiers recently in the last couple of decades has really been quite heartwarming for me.
They sacrifice their lives for the country. They care about people. I'm thankful for our veterans because they have done so many things to make our country safe, and they made our country free. I honor my dad because he was in the Air Force.
You have our backs. You always do. You know that we rely on you. You have our hearts. We honor you. The heroes of red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. We are a grateful nation for all you do, for all you've done. You put yourselves right on the line. Because of you, we're doing fine. Your family has given too, and they deserve our gratitude. Our gratitude. We are a grateful nation for all you do, for all you've done. We are a grateful nation for all you do, for all you've
Hi, my name is Goertz, and I served in the United States Marine Corps from 1989 to 1993.
Hi, my name is Goertz, and I served in the United States Marine Corps from 2015 to 2020. Well, I decided to serve because I wanted to follow in my father's footsteps, and I think it was a very honorable decision.
And I decided to serve because I've been a third generation service member, which would make Zach a fourth generation member. My two grandfathers served in World War II. One was in the Army and one was in the Navy. My father served in Vietnam in the Army. So I just felt the calling in my heart to follow their footsteps and serve my country. As a United States Marine, first, all Marines are trained to be infantrymen. Then you have the secondary MOS, which I was trained to be a motor transport mechanic. Sometimes we work on trucks or heavy equipment, and then we transport troops from the starting position to wherever they need to go.
And then I went to boot camp and was trained to be an infantryman at first, just like all Marines. And then I went through through swim qualification, and that's a struggle for me because I didn't know how to swim too well, but they taught me how to swim and got through the swim qualification. Then I went to they call it SEER school. It's where they act like you're a prisoner of war just in case you end up in that situation. But that was a really neat experience, and I don't know if I want to do it again, but it was a really neat experience. And after SEER school, I went through my flight school, and I learned how to work on the V-22, which is a tilt-rotor aircraft. It can be a helicopter or an airplane. And I learned how to work on it, and then I learned how to be a crew chief and fly in the back of it. And then from that point on, I went to my first squadron, which was in Virginia. It was the Presidential Helicopter Squadron. And what my job entailed from there on out was I was an escort for the President of the United States. And I flew right alongside of him. And I guess you could say I was his bodyguard in the air. It was a really neat experience.
Will you tell us about the sacrifices of being a service member?
The first sacrifice that comes to mind is the ultimate sacrifice. And that'd be where you're not able to come home and see your friends and family. That's obviously the biggest one, but one sacrifice that I went through was just being away from your friends and family for an extended period of time. I'd say that's a pretty small sacrifice in that big sea.
I agree with that. The ultimate sacrifice is never coming home from your family, and everyone has to deal with that for the rest of their lives too. The other sacrifices that we look at today's modern society, the wars are different nowadays. They have devices that blow up on the road when people are driving, and you can blow up your Jeep or your Hummer, and you come home with no arms or no legs or missing an eye. And suffer from PTSD and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of sacrifice in this service. Well, if you drive down the interstate, you see billboards sometimes saying that you are proud of the Marines. I've been able to hold that title for a long time now. I guess that's what makes me proud, because once you're a Marine, always a Marine.
What makes me most proud is earning that Eagle Golden Anchor. That's what the Marines get once they finish boot camp. And I still remember the time where my drill instructor handed me the Eagle Golden Anchor, and I say that's one of the most proud moments of my enlistment.
I am thankful for my veterans because they give us freedom and peace, and because they risk their lives so our lives are happy.
I am thankful for our veterans because they're keeping us safe every day and put their lives in danger just so we can have freedom.
Jim Freckles, Nebraska Army National Guard. I'm the medical evacuation helicopter pilot out of Lincoln, Nebraska. I decided to serve so I could give back to the community and country that's given my family a safe place to live and grow. Being a part of preserving that is extremely rewarding. I'm a medical evacuation pilot, so I fly a UH-60 Black helicopter. We do everything from aerial firefighting to search and rescue. Recently, we've been somewhat expansions and it requires constant training.
Can you talk to us about the sacrifices of being a service member?
Sure, as a service member, we're called to do work all across the country and across the world. So we're taken away from our families often for times of over a month and then even a year. So we miss a lot of birthdays and holidays, but it's all worth it.
What makes you most proud about being a service member?
So being a service member gives me the opportunity to give back. In the Nebraska National Guard, we often respond to a lot of natural disasters, so we're able to be there in people's time of need, and being able to pull people out of bad situations is really rewarding.
Hello, Bennington Elementary. My name is Melvin. I'm a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter pilot for the Nebraska Army National Guard, currently deployed to Syria. My job as a medevac pilot is to provide emergency medical services to soldiers in the region. What this means is that if anybody gets hurt on or off the battlefield, our job is to fly to them, pick them up, and take them to the hospital. There's 5 people on our crew to help make this happen. There's 2 pilots up front that are responsible for flying the aircraft to the patient and then getting the patient to the hospital. There's a crew chief that's responsible for maintaining the aircraft and protecting it while we're on the ground. There's a paramedic and en route critical care nurse that are responsible for taking care of the patient and making sure all life-saving measures are taking place and they're in a stable condition when we deliver them to the hospital. There's a 6th crew member on my aircraft at all times. His name's Tuppy. He joined me from Bennington to say he wanted a vacation, so I brought him to Syria with me. Hope you guys don't mind. He's here having fun with me. I'll bring him back in the spring. All right, now I'll show you around the helicopter.
All right, now we're back to the aircraft. Back where the crew chief and paramedic sit. Paramedic sits in this seat, crew chief sits in this seat. They face outwards, so they help make sure the aircraft doesn't run into any trees or buildings. We have to go into any confined areas. They're constantly making sure the aircraft is in a safe position and back myself up front. Everything in here is in a very precise position so that if we get a mission and it's dark and we're running out here and we just woke up, they know exactly where everything's at and they can rush and clear it on and we can get the aircraft off the ground as soon as possible. All right, now I'll show you where the patient goes and where the en route critical care nurse sits. All right, now I'm in the back of the aircraft against the back wall of the cabin where the en route critical care nurse sits. Their job is to gather all the information that they can get on the patient and prepare medical equipment so that we land to pick up the patient. They immediately put in place a plan of care, take any life-saving measures that are necessary. And then throughout the flight, they continuously monitor the patient to make sure they're in a stable condition when we get to the hospital. Also back here is a hoist. This hoist is used when we can't land and pick up a patient, whether on the side of the mountain or in the trees, or we can't pick a helicopter. We hook the paramedic up to the hoist cable, and the crew chief lowers the hoist cable with the paramedic down to the patient. The paramedic packages up the patient, hooks them up to the hoist cable with them. The crew chief lifts them up on the cable, brings them into the aircraft, and then our critical care nurse and paramedics then start working on the patient. Up against this back wall, so you can see all the medical equipment for a wide range of missions, because we never know what kind of patient we're going to get, or what kind of care they might need. All right, Bennington Elementary, I just want to say thank you for all your support. It means a lot to Mrs. Kreitman and I to be a part of the Bennington family. So stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
We want to thank Ms. Shepherd, the fifth grade and the fourth grade. We also want to thank K through 3 that came in behind you. But most importantly, we want to thank you. So, one mention, Galen Freifels, the last one you saw here, is married to our third grade teacher, Jessica. Would you stand, Ms. Freifels, please? We want to thank you for loaning your Again, it's an honor to have you here today. We appreciate all that you've done. If you would graciously allow us to exit the students, then we will allow you to exit the building as well. So if I can, third grade out to the south, fifth grade, if you will, to the north, fourth grade, hang with us, and we'll get going shortly. Thank you very much for serving.